Hello everyone, Shinto Bean here playing some more Warhammer Combat Cards. Live PvP. Got 2 more matches here for you, and I'm running Warlords and Bodyguards that I normally have at a much lower level. I just want to showcase what they look like at the max level. So for this one, I'm running the Parasite of Mortrex, running mostly melee cards, but I do have the Sanctus there with Precision Shot and Poison I just deployed. We're up against Aunva with just a couple bodyguards, but he's running some pretty powerful, very expensive bodyguards. We got Long Strike on the field and a Riptide Battlesuit, which has 2 shields in addition to its Precision Shot. Remember that in deployment, the traits trigger in the order that they were deployed. So the first thing that will fire off will be that Sanctus. So it does get the poison out before it is sniped by the Riptide Battlesuit. The Mucilid Spore just got blown to shreds by Long Strike's Precision Shot, and then the Death Blow went off, infesting 2 of those cards there. And then we've got the Toxicrene there taking a fair bit of damage. The card in the middle lane for the Tau is it's like a transport tank, but it has Taunt. It's one of the newer cards. I don't actually own it in my collection, but the thing has a ton of health, and of course max level Taunt reduces the damage by quite a bit, so the thing can absorb a lot of punishment. But once that thing goes down, then the Warlord's going to be on the field, and he's going to be pretty vulnerable. So I've deployed the Hive Tyrant with Inspiring Presence and Berserk to the field, and got some healing down with the Medicae. But yeah, these guys are doing a lot of damage, 250 damage from Long Strike, who also has max level Inspiring Presence. So just crazy amounts of damage. But now the Taunt has disappeared, and at this point I put down the Death Leaper, which is a legendary, so it has max level Furious Charge. They're dealing 161 damage after the buff from Inspiring Presence. And then we go for a really big attack. And actually, it is enough with the Death Leaper dealing 210 damage to take out Long Strike, which then causes everything. It creates a series of explosions, like a chain reaction, and deals some damage to the Riptide Battlesuit through the shields. Because it was damage from the special rule, shields do not block that. Now, Aunva is on the field. He does have 4 shields himself, so he's very tanky, but without any bodyguard to protect him in the right lane, he's going to be in trouble. Death Blow going off there, taking out some of the shields. And I don't have any more ranged in this deck, so the Riptide Battlesuit can keep firing without any retaliation, but it is our turn, and we are able to go for a pretty big Psychic attack and debuff the ranged a little bit. We've got the Abominant now in the left lane, which has a max level Death Blow and Berserk. The thing does a lot of damage. It also has a lot of health, so the Riptide can't one-shot it. 127 damage incoming, increasing the melee attack of the Abominant by 12. And then at this point, I was a little bit worried. If I dealt too much damage to Aunva but without killing him, he could potentially retaliate for a huge amount of damage. But it turns out, the Hive Tyrant still had plenty of health there. No danger of dying. And the Abominant is still alive as well, so here they go for a ranged attack, of course, but that means the Abominant's Death Blow goes off, dealing a crazy amount of damage, and also increasing all of the attack stats of my other deployed units, because that was the priority threat. Riptide Battlesuit is a very expensive card, but it doesn't really actually matter anyway, because the Parasite of Mortrex has Furious Charge, dealing, I think, over 100 damage there on deployment, and so the Tyranids are able to claim victory. Now, moving on to the second battle, we are playing as the Psychomancer, running a number of epic bodyguards, as well as a legendary here. We got the Tesseract Arc, which has Barrage and Outflank. Normally only have it at level 4, but it is quite strong. Again, with the Psychomancer, you want to typically use units that have only one attack type, so that they will benefit the most from the special rule, which reduces damage from attack types that you don't have. But this is actually the best case scenario, because we're up against a Psychic deck, and since Necrons don't have any psychic at all, you're guaranteed to just get a lot of damage reduction from those psychic attacks. They won't be dealing nearly as much damage. Now we do have the initiative, and the Doomsday Arc is firing off its precision barrage. They do have a Tech Marine though, which healed up those guys by quite a bit. They've got 2 units with Psionic Blast, so that's a lot of damage that they can do. And we're unable to kill their priority threat or even deal very much damage to it. That Dreadnought is doing fine, regenerating 8 health at the end of each turn. And here they are deploying, I think, another healer. So, bringing back a lot of health on these guys. And here goes the animation, which takes forever with Psionic Blast. They really need to make it so that all of those, like, the animations all trigger at the same time. Not sure why they have to just go one by one like that, because we're going to be seeing it every single turn here. But they are debuffing my ranged, in addition to dealing quite a bit of damage. They do take down the Immortal. The Tesseract Arc is the priority threat on my side, so I do want to keep it alive. And at this point, deploy the Hexmark Destroyer, which has Target Acquired, which is an amazing trait to be using in PvP, but especially with the Cut Off the Head modifier, where you're taking out the priority threat. It is really useful, because you can see you just got a massive boost to all of our attack stats of our deployed units after destroying that Dreadnought, which will give us a huge advantage here. Meanwhile, the Tesseract Arc will be taking some damage from the psychic attacks, but it is getting reduced by 40%, so we're doing just fine. Now they have the Grey Knight's Apothecary on the field, so that's even more healing. And Njal Stormcaller there has been benefiting from Grandmaster Voldus' special rule, which has been increasing his psychic attack. So 242 psychic damage. That is a lot of damage right there. That's in addition to the Psionic Blast damage, of course, but it got reduced by over 100 damage. So Tesseract Arc is still alive. And we take down that Apothecary. So here comes their Warlord to the field. They're actually doing a pretty good job, like a lot more damage than I was actually expecting with the Psychomancer. Just from all of the buffs there, with Njal Stormcaller being on the field from the beginning of the match. Psionic Blast here dealing 53 damage after the damage reduction. He's at 290 psychic now. It's pretty ridiculous, and they are finally able to destroy the Arc, which gives them the buff from taking out the priority threat. However, that Doomsday Arc did survive, which is actually pretty huge. That thing getting an extra attack in is not good news for the Space Marines. And it does become the new priority threat. So 169 barrage damage here, straight into Voldus' face. And actually, the barrage damage managed to take out both of the bodyguards, and then Hexmark Destroyer finished off the Warlord. So, didn't have to deploy the Psychomancer himself for this one, and it is game over for those Space Marines. So, these are just 2 fun decks that I don't normally use in ranked very much, but it's a lot of fun to see everything at max level.